I thought I'd show you today how I take apart my dahlia tubers or divide them. So first I start with a wood frame box here with some wire, hardware wire in it, and I just put it right over a 5-gallon pot, and so then I just stick my dahlia tubers on there. Before that, I also make sure that I've got my tag with it. And if you use these kind of plastic tags, a good way to keep it attached is to put it on its side and just work it down the stem like that. It works really well. It stays a little better than putting it this way. It tends to fly off when you blast it with water, so that's what I'm going to be doing next. So I just take the water and here we go. So once it's kind of dry like that, or wet like that and cleaned up, I will take it over here to my table. And when I work dividing my tubers, I use what's called a Dewalt 20-volt multi-tool. I also call it a plunge cutter. It goes like that. And then the other tool that I just love to use are these, they're called Flart Navanon. And I get these at Haida Tool in Berkeley. It's JF 175 if you're interested in getting them. They're about $20 each. They're silky Teflon floral snips, and I use them for cutting my dahlias. I use them for when I take apart these tubers. I use them. I love them because they're very sharp at the tip, and that's easy to get in. And then they also have a little tooth here that also cuts, you know, kind of woody things. So I've been really happy with these. So I'm going to start with showing you again. I've got my tag here on the side. This has been washed, so I'm going to place this over here. Always keep your tag. Always just do one at a time. When I've done multiples, sometimes they get mixed up and then you have to throw them out and start again. So if I was going to be looking at this, I think I would start by first using the plunge cutter. And you just have to be really careful when you use this. Keep your hands away from this blade. But what I like about it is this is hard to cut a lot of times. It's very woody and very thick there. So I can save my hand by using the plunge cutter. So that's off. The next thing I'm going to do is just try to harvest the easiest ones first. So these ones here are pretty easy. This one has been broken, so I'm going to take that off. So with these flarts, I can just really get in here. I wiggle, 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 cut, and then pop it off. So now I've got two that have popped off together, and now I'm going to really look to see if I can find eyes. Now these were dug yesterday. I like to usually divide the same day because the eyes stick up a little better. So there are some eyes right in here, and there's an eye here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide these in half like this, and then what I do is I just come in and do a little bit of cleanup on them. If the tails have been broken, like this one's broken, I would definitely take the tails off. I tend to leave a little bit here on the ends. You can do whatever you want. So that's a pretty good tuber there. This one, the end was broken when I washed it, so you have to get rid of that. And this one looks pretty good. So there's an eye there. If you can zoom in on that, Brian, you see that eye there? So this one's looking pretty good. So you can see here that when you pull out your tuber, you're going to have what's called the mother tuber left on this. And you can even see it says Kay's Rosie Joe. So this was the mother tuber that created all these tubers under the ground when the plant was growing. And so the mother tuber, we never keep that one. It's kind of, unless it looks really great, I never keep that one. I always take that one off. It's usually, sometimes it's rotted. A lot of times it's just kind of done its thing and it's a little bit old. The skin is kind of falling off. So anyway, I just get rid of that. That's the mother tuber. And so now we're down to some other tubers here. So sometimes when it's hard to see and you can't see in here, it's best to make a little smaller package. And I do that by dividing this into two. And it makes it pretty easy with that plunge cutter. Part of the reason I like the plunge cutter is it's hard on my hands to do a lot of clipping of that stem, which is really, really hard. This is very hard. So now I can look at this a little easier. I can get off some of these small ones. The ones that are sort of smaller than pencils tend to not store that well. If you do want to store small ones that are pencil size or smaller, I recommend wrapping those particular tubers in saran wrap. They seem to do better that way. So now I'm kind of just searching for eyes in here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What are the 3 parts of the tuber you have to have?
Oh yeah, the 3 parts of the tuber you have to have. That's a good one. Is the tuber has to have some kind of the body. Now, if you hit it with a shovel and it was half, that's fine too. But mostly it needs a body. It always needs some kind of a body, neck, and then the crown here. So this would be considered the crown on this one. This upper part here. Sometimes. Yeah, and the crown has to have an eye for it to grow. So a lot of these ones that we're going to pop off of here, I would say at least half, if not more, usually of the tubers that I go through don't have eyes on them and will not grow tubers. So see, now it's getting hard for me to cut there. So I'll just get out the plunge cutter and then make a cut here. So that really, really helps get that going. So I'm going to get rid of some of this. When it's brown like that, you want to make sure you're not getting anything that's that could possibly have rot. I'm still looking for eyes here, and I don't really see any. So if you don't see any eyes, even though these are perfectly good tubers, those go in the bin. Those go into the recycle bin. So again, this one is broken. If any of the necks are broken, you can't keep those. If they look kind of on the bad side, you can't keep those. So I would just do the plunge cutter there and then get a chance to look a little better at this. So I'm not seeing as many eyes as I was hoping here. So I don't see any on that, even though these are perfectly good. Into the bin they go. So the other thing you can do is when you get this into a smaller package like this for dividing, is you can take it over to the water and give it another blast, and that really helps you to see the eyes on that. So I just keep going along. Anything that just broke or breaks, you just take off. Sometimes it's a good idea just to go through here and sort of clean it up before you even look at the eyes. Any little ones that are attached to the main tuber, I usually get rid of those. They either tend to fall off later or make it harder to store. Any tuber that looks bad, like this one here. This one might have been next to the mother tuber. There might have been a little bit of rot. The skin is looking bad. Those just have to go. So you just have to be really good about getting rid of anything that doesn't look good. And then what you're searching for are for eyes. So this one here, it's hard to tell, but right in there is an eye. So I'm going to go search that one out. This looks like a good healthy tuber right here. So what I'm going to do is either I can go in with these and pop it off. That was pretty easy. So I usually try with my snips first. If that doesn't work, then I'll go in with the plunge cutter and cut that off. So now I've got another good tuber here. There's an eye here. There's possibly an eye there or there. And this is what the bottom looks like. If anything is broken, you want to get that off because that won't make it for next year. And then anything that's kind of loose like this, I take off. So so that's kind of it. I've got my tag here. Always your tag when you're doing that. You can look in here and see the eyes. So I've gotten 3 so far off of this tuber clump. I'll probably get a few more. If you want to watch another video of me dividing, I have a 16-minute video on dividing dahlia tubers on my YouTube channel. And so if you just go to Christine Albrecht, you can see that. We'll have that up later today. So good luck dividing. Have fun.